A few times I've warned against the dangers of tunnel visioning when you're analyzing things in Pathfinder 2nd Edition because it's important to look at things in the context that they are in, not see one thing and then look solely at that singular body of text and say, this is bad, I hate this, and then hate the whole thing. This was on full display when War of Immortals came into pre-release, where subscribers had their copies, and then for months afterwards. The Vindicator being a very good example of that. Temper tantrums were thrown left and right because the dedication feat gives you the ability to use religion with certain social skills and get a bonus in certain cases, but only in a town that has a church of your deity in it. There was complaints that this takes up a whole feat slot for a relatively situational benefit, even though that's a really easy benefit to get around, but more on that at some point. But that's really only the case if you completely ignore the fact that it's a class archetype that doesn't take anything away from the ranger. It just gives you things like sanctification, potentially either deadly simplicity or sometimes training in an advanced weapon. It gives you a focus point because it gives you a focus spell. Not to mention the expanded options provided by the feats, which, by the way, because you have a level 1 feat in the form of Domain Initiate, you can get out of the archetype really quickly. A human or in free archetype, you can qualify to get out of the archetype the second you gain it. Despite some of the Foreign Dwellers' assistance that was a typo, even though it's not been errated for months afterwards. Paizo changes the levels of additional feats all of the time, and they didn't in this case, and there's no indication that it's a typo. I mean, they haven't errated it since. And a general weird point in Ranger discourse hits the Vindicator hard here as well, because people don't really see what the Ranger Edge actually grants or how it functions. They just have thought pollution from 5e and see the Ranger's Edge as the 5e Hunter's Mark thing. They don't look at precision and see it only grants 1d8 damage one time around for 10 levels of the game, being one of the worst damage boosting mechanics on a martial. They look at that and they see a barbarian rage or a sneak attack. A slight boost to your divine spell accuracy actually scales pretty decently when compared to 4 damage a round on average. Vindicator's a class archetype that got a really bad reputation because it was judged in bits and pieces by people with a surface level of understanding of how the Ranger's mechanics work.